We're live here from Walmart Connect studio at CES. I'm Khurrum Malik, the VP of Business and Product Marketing at Walmart Connect, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Daniel Danker, Executive Vice President of AI Acceleration, Product and Design at Walmart. Welcome.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Daniel, before we jump into all this stuff about AI and all the goodness we want to talk about, can you just, for the audience, talk a little bit about what does AI mean to you? There's so many definitions out there. Spend a couple minutes sharing that with us, please.
You know, AI, artificial intelligence, is really built on technology that we've been using for many years, which we used to call machine learning. And machine learning is really just pattern matching. It's using technology to access so much data at once that you could start making predictions. Well, the funny thing about machine learning is that it was making predictions, but it was a bit of a black box. It didn't really understand the customer. It just noticed patterns and assumed that they would repeat themselves. Mm-hmm. And sometimes those patterns do repeat themselves, but sometimes machine learning would make awkward conclusions. So, for example, machine learning is likely to recommend that you buy turkey the week after Thanksgiving because it suddenly noticed a surge of people buying turkeys. AI is different. AI actually starts to interpret and understand and draw conclusions that are based on that understanding, not just based on the patterns. So AI will recommend that you buy turkeys the week before Thanksgiving.
Got it.
And that's just one tiny example of what changes when you go from a world of pattern matching to a world of really understanding.
That's a really good segue. So, you lead, AI acceleration, product design across Walmart. And how do you think about AI's role at Walmart overall, and what are you focused most on?
Well, it's a new set of tools and capabilities, and it's technology that enables us to do things we genuinely could not do before. We dreamt, but we couldn't actually have the tools in place to do what we really wanted to be able to do. And so for me, I'm focused on a few things. Yeah. One, AI will enable us to move faster, much faster than we ever could before. So I want to drive the adoption of AI across the enterprise so that we make full use of this new capability. But I also want us to think differently about what's now possible, serving customers in more personalized ways, enabling brands to reach customers in much more intentional ways than we've ever been able to do before. So it's moving faster, but also building differently.
Yeah, I think that's a big topic at CES. I'm sure no surprise to you. I walked the floor yesterday, and it was everywhere from laundromats to cars. I was like, wow, it's everywhere. So we are here at CES. It's about the future. So from your vantage point, why is this moment different for AI at Walmart, right? And for retail more broadly?
Well, for the last year, we've all been experimenting with AI. We've been trying to see how this new tool enables us to do things that we didn't think we could do before. We ran a bunch of pilots. We learned a lot about what works and what doesn't. 2026 is going to be a year where we move from pilots to real world impact using AI. It's going to be the year where the theories turn into reality. And that's going to be very, very exciting. It's going to enable us to do things that we only dreamt of, but that's only going to be possible because we're going to take this new capability and solve real customer problems with it. Now, when I say real customer problems, that doesn't just mean customer-facing, consumer-facing solutions. It's actually throughout our supply chain. It's going to impact inventory. It's going to impact the flow of goods. It's going to impact what you see where in our stores and online. It's going to impact how we matchmake between brands and customers and all of those shopping journeys and moments in between.
It's exciting, I think, and we're well positioned to do that. So let's bring that a little bit. We started at a very high level on AI. We've talked a little bit about retail. Let's get specific about retail media. And we think about retail media. So, how do you think about Walmart's broader AI strategy showing up in Walmart Connect and the tools and investments you and your team are making for brands, both big and small?
Well, Walmart Connect is all about connecting brands and customers in the right moments, the right customers. And some of the tactics that we've talked about in the past circle around how do we target the customers correctly? How do we know what the customer's intent is so we can marry that intent with the right brands and products in the right moments. Well, now we have this new tool that creates a level of understanding around what the customer is actually trying to do that goes way beyond the rudimentary targeting that existed in years past. And so that's going to enable us not only to reach customers based on the queries that they put in, based on their search terms, et cetera, but actually understand what is the problem the customer is trying to solve. And that's actually what brands have wanted all along as well. When you can understand the problem the customer is trying to solve, you don't just show up with one product or one item, but you show up with a collection of things that solve their needs. And that's a whole different way of reaching customers. Now, it's also going to help us take Walmart Connect into new places when it comes to knowing where to invest, how much to invest, but also to know what worked and what didn't.
That's right.
You know, the whole measurement space is going to change quite a bit here. One of the things that AI does better than we've ever been able to do before is it can digest an unbelievable, almost unfathomable amount of data and bring that all together into a really usable, actionable set of outcomes. And so what you'll start seeing with Walmart Connect is that we'll be bringing this data around what's happening on platform, in our digital products, in our stores, in an omni-channel way, and in fact, even well beyond the data that exists within Walmart. Bring all that data together to drive the decisions that we make.
Well, that aligns really well with what we're excited about, which is, sparking sales for our advertisers with a great customer experience. And you talked about the scale. Of course, we've got the 150 million weekly customers. We got the 4,600 stores, and now we've got new surfaces. And so let me segue into the new surfaces. So there's a lot of excitement about Agentic, right? So let's chat a little bit about how do you see the Marty advertising assistant and AI-powered tools like that evolving as AI becomes more embedded across Walmart and Walmart Connect?
Well, historically, we built these incredible dashboards that would show you an abundance of information.
Right.
Now, it's awesome to be able to see that data in such a granular way, but it's probably a little bit overwhelming as well. We all ask ourselves the same questions. Okay, so what should I do based on all this information? And how do I know that I got it right? And how do I know that I didn't miss a trick by not seeing some part of the dashboard that should have really been a bright light for me? Well, the Marty Assistant cuts through all of that. It digests all the data for you. And it does it with the intention not of showing you more data, but of turning that into action, of suggesting the best actions you could take to achieve your goals. You can tell it what your goals are. You can tell it if there's a new product you want to have discovered, so an innovation area. You can tell it if you're trying to increase your return on investment in certain areas. You can tell it if there's certain demographics that you're trying to reach that you haven't been able to reach in the past. And it will make recommendations that are very actionable and actually take action on your behalf based on those recommendations. That's a completely different way of engaging. So it's not just seeing an abundance of data, it's actually turning that into action.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying about accelerating and just getting faster and being more effective and efficient. So that's incredibly exciting. I know our clients are incredibly excited to test, especially the emerging clients. So let's talk a little bit about, let's zoom back out a bit. We've got very specific. Let's talk a little bit about what excites you about where AI and retail media is headed, just broadly. You touched on it a little bit, but are there other things about either creative or other areas that you're excited about? Just kind of paint a picture for us broadly on what's to come.
Well, AI gives us new tools with which to create content as well. And especially as emerging brands are trying to reach customers, whether those are brands that exist in our stores or indeed brands that are part of our marketplace where our assortment becomes much, much bigger. And we have way more opportunities to reach customers with the right products perhaps that they've never even discovered before. Well, now all of a sudden we need to create the content. We need to generate creative that will resonate with those customers. And so we're building out tools that do that in much more automatic ways. And that enables you to generate creative that can be a lot more targeted. So instead of one size fitting all, you can actually tailor the creative to different use cases and different customer segments. And our platform and the Walmart Connect platform will automatically bring that to customers in the right way. So generating creative becomes something that AI can help with quite a bit.
Yeah, and I'm especially excited about both enterprise advertisers, which most people think about at CES and Cannes, but also the emerging. And I think AI is going to have a massive positive impact for both. But I think emerging advertisers with the tools you mentioned, both creative, agentic, it's really going to help. So it's really incredibly exciting for both sets. So Daniel, I know CES is a busy time. We're incredibly lucky to have you join us. Thank you. If there was like one quick thing you'd want every brand to walk away from about AI in this discussion, what would you want them to know?
Well, Walmart Connect is all about sparking sales, and AI is going to enable us to do that in really clever ways that we've never been able to do before.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us at CES 2026, and we really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for listening in.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.